So unit number 2, financing decision. In the unit number 2, we need to learn 4 different aspects or 4 different topics. So I will divide this entire unit in 4 parts. Part 1, sources of finance. Part 2, cost of capital. Part 3, capital structure. And part 4, leverage. Again, I repeat, sources of finance, part 1, part 2, capital, cost of capital, part 3, capital structure, and part 4, leverage. So today we will start with the first part of the unit 2. So just write down the main title, sources of finance. Write down the title, sources of finance. Are you with me? Title done? Unit 2, financing decision, part 1, or main title, sources of finance. Hello, are you with me? Everyone, I am not getting any response. Quickly response. What about others? Yes, very good, very nice. Okay, so let's understand the first part, sources of finance. Okay, as we know, we have 2 types of finance in a private finance, personal finance and business finance. So personal finance means money with you and with me. So whenever we want to utilize this money or whenever we require this money, we have so many options. Okay, first, if I want to purchase anything or I want to start my business as a personal business, so at that time first finance source or is for me is my own money, my savings, my bank balance, my other securities, other financial obligations. Okay, number 1, my own money जो मेरे पास है वो. Number 2, money that I can receive from my family members. Money that I can borrow from or I can ask my family members to give me that money. Number 3, money or fund from relative or finance. So your own money, family members' money, and money you have taken from your bank, relative and friends. These 3 are the internal sources for personal finance. I'm discussing personally everything. Yeah, personally means about a personal finance. And then after we have a second source of personal finance, that is external source. In an external source, we have rest of all the things. Okay, we have home loan, we have vehicle loan, we have other loans, we have personal loans, we have business loan, other financial obligations, money borrowed from the money lender. These all are the sources for personal finance. As far as our syllabus, this personal finance is not there in your syllabus. Just we need to understand the sources of business finance, sources for capital of the companies. Okay, but for your understanding purpose, for making a foundation, first we have discussed the personal finance. Here, personal finance means these 2. Internal means your money, your family members, and your relative money. External means money from the other financial institute, from other persons. Are we clear about the sources of personal finance? Hello. Yes. Okay. Now, now, next. Now we are discussing about the sources of finance for a company forms of organization, for a large organizations. Okay. So mainly there are 4 types of sources. First, equity share. Number 2, preference share. Number 3, debt capital. And number 4, internal sources. Okay, let me explain one by one all the sources. The first one is equity capital. You may write down this one because the following points are important for MCQ questions, for 1 mark questions, and you can elaborate this all the points in paragraph to complete the 8 mark question or a 4 mark question. So first source for the companies are equity capital. So equity capital means owners capital. Why owners capital? Because the equity shareholders are they considered as a owners of the company. When why they are considered or they are known as owner of the company? Because they are bearing the risk. They are bearing the financial risk. They are bearing the business risk of the company. Let me explain this why they are called as the owners of the company and why equity share capital is known as a ownership capital. See, if the company has issued the debentures, okay, so suppose 10% debentures are there, it means company need to pay 10% interest to the debenture holders every year, irrespective of profit or loss that company has. Are you getting my point? Whether the company earn a profit or whether a company suffer losses, in all the cases, it is by law that company need to pay 10% interest to a debenture holders in respective of profit. But in case of equity shareholders, if there is a loss, zero dividend. But if there is a profit, again the condition if the management of the company is ready to declare the dividend, then and then there is a dividend. So in case of debenture, there is a fixed return. Now you think point of view from the shareholders. There is a fixed return, but from the point of view of equity shareholders, there is no guarantee of return. Okay, in some of cases, it may happen that the share price of the company goes down and you may suffer losses while you are selling the shares of the company. सपोज मैंने जब शेयर परचेज किया था किसी एक्स कंपनी का तब उसकी प्राइस 200 थी ना वो 150 के है तो अभी मैं उसको सेल कर दूंगा तो 50 रुपीज का मुझे लॉस भी हो सकता है सो दैट्स वाई one, no guarantee of return. In spite of that, they are bearing the risk of the ownership, risk of the company. That's why they known as a owner of the company. Or if I explain more clearly, suppose as a businessman, I have started a business. Okay, I bring my capital, I purchase a place, I establish a machinery, I started the production, I started the selling. Now I am earning the profit. Okay, day by day the profit is increasing. So all the profits goes to where? It comes to me. I am the person who can enjoy the entire profit of the company of the firm. Okay, but in case of losses, again I am only the one person who is responsible for all the losses, all the liabilities. Similarly, whenever there is a profit, there is a dividend. Again, it's come to equity shareholders. And when there is a loss, there is a liability. There is a zero dividend. It means again this loss come to equity shareholders. Now the point is clear. Why they are called as owners of the company and why equity share capital is known as ownership capital. Okay, so as equity capital is owners capital, equity shareholders are owners of the company. Okay, they get the return in form of dividend. They bear the risk of the company. And one more thing, the liabilities of the equity share capital is limited to number of shares that he or she has purchased. Okay, उसने जितने भी शेयर्स परचेज किए हैं उतने तक उसकी liabilities limited. Suppose I have purchased 10 shares of Reliance Limited, then my liability is limited to 10 shares of Reliance Limited. Are we clear about the concept of equity capital? Hello. It's so simple. Okay, it's owners capital. It's equity shareholders are known as owners of the company. They get the dividend, they bear the risk. Okay, and limited liabilities is there. And last and important point about the equity capital. Please remember this point. Out of all the sources of finance, equity share capital is most or more expensive source of finance. Please remember this line, maybe asked in one question or one line question or MCQ question. The equity share capital is more expensive than the preference shares and debenture. Are we clear about the equity share capital, the concept? Hello. There is a single person in equity share capital. No, my dear. Minimum lots are there. Generally 10, 14, 12, like this. Whenever there is IPO, okay, at that time there is some lots, minimum slots are there that you need to minimum purchase of 12 shares or 15 shares or 20 shares or 50 shares, 100 shares, like this. In a primary market, in secondary market, you can purchase a single share of the company. Are you getting my point, Meet? Yes. Okay, good. So now the next one, types of capital. Okay, types of capital. Let me explain this with the example of Marwadi University. See, have you visited the campus? Everyone? Yes. They meet. No, Aryan. Okay. Almost all the students have visited the campus. Okay, and approximately we have a campus in a 22 acres. In a 22 acres, we have campus. I'm right. So within this 22 acre, we can do anything. We can construct buildings, academic buildings. We can construct hostels. We can build a canteen. We can grow a garden. We have a lake. We have some grounds. Okay, for various games. We have some other canteens, some cafeterias. We have some game zones. So it's our boundary. We can do anything within this 22 acres. As a Marwadi University, you and me, we can do anything. Okay, we can't go beyond this 22 acres. हम इसके बाहर कुछ भी नहीं कर सकते. Okay, we cannot construct a hall and cross the Morbi Road because it is outside the organization. But enter the after entering the gate of the university, we can do anything. So are we clear about this one? Now connect this one with the first one. Authorized capital, the amount of capital that company can potentially issue, and that amount is decided by Memorandum and Companies Act 2013. So authorized capital means a maximum amount that company can issue as a capital. Here 22 acres means it's our maximum limit. So here in company's capital, we have some maximum limit. That maximum limit is known as authorized capital. Are we clear about the point one? First type of capital. Okay. Now comes to a second part. Okay. Out of 22 acres, we have not utilized all the area. We have utilized all the areas. No, some areas are still unutilized. Why this? There is some unutilized areas. If you see the backside of the hostel, okay, backside of the lake, okay, yes, future planning is there, but the point is that right now, we don't require anything more than this one. Are you getting my point? Right now, there is no requirement of anything. Whatever we have, that is enough. There is no more required. It means, as per our requirement, we have utilized this area. Similarly, in the company's forms of organization, if the management, if the board of directors have said that, okay, we have authorized capital, suppose like 20 lakhs, okay, that is offered, or this is as per the memorandum. 20 lakhs is our authorized capital, but we don't require the 20 lakh rupees right now. We required only 10 lakh rupees. So this 10 lakh rupees are called as issued capital. Capital issued by the company or capital offered by the company to the investors as per the requirement of the company. Are we clear about the number two? Authorized capital means a total amount that company can issue. Issued capital means the amount offered by a company to shareholders, sorry, to investors. Now, companies offered are 10 lakh rupees, but the investors have subscribed only 8 lakh rupees. 8 lakh rupees subscription is there. So that 8 lakh rupees are known as a subscribed capital. It means the amount out of the issued capital, the amount subscribed by the investor. Are you getting my point? Now you can compare this one with our hostel facility. In hostel facility, or in our hostel A or B or C, we have 10 floors. Okay. We as a Marwad University officers, as a representative, we are offering all the floors for all the students. But if you see still now, some floors are vacant. No students are there. Only suppose only 7 floors are filled up. 7 floors are full. So this called as a subscribed capital, and remaining floors, those are not at utilized, that called as unsubscribed capital. So remaining 2 lakh is known as unsubscribed capital. Are you getting my point? These three are clear. Authorized means total amount that company can issue. Issued capital means amount offered to investor. Subscribed capital means amount subscribed by the investors. And unsubscribed capital means the amount not subscribed by the investors. And last one, paid up capital. Actual amount paid by the investor. Generally, paid up capital and subscribed capital both are same. Generally, subscribed capital and paid up capital both are same. And in the most of cases, even though issued capital, subscribed capital, and paid up capital, these three are equal. So are we clear about this four or five types of capital? Authorized capital, issued capital, subscribed capital, unsubscribed capital, paid up capital, or reverse to paid up, unpaid up capital, the amount not paid by the investor. Unpaid capital, also known as calls in arrears. Okay, calls in arrears. Hello everyone, are we clear about the types of share capitals? Okay. Good. Moving ahead for the next point. Different values of the shares. different values of the shares. Now, first one, par value, also known as a face value. Par value or a first face value, amount or the value of the share that stated in the memorandum. Memorandum means a prime document of any company. So here, par value means a value stated or value recorded in the memorandum of the company. Generally, we have 100 rupees or 10 rupees. Sometimes you hear the word like each of rupees 100, share each of rupees 10. So these 100 and 10s are known as par value or face value. Are we clear about the par value or a face value? Each of rupees 100 or each of rupees 10. These 100 and 10s are known as face value. Now see the next one, issue value, a price at which the equity shares is issued or offered. Generally, we have three criteria here. Company issue the shares with a premium. So premium will be added in the face value. Then we'll got the issue price, issue value. Suppose 10% premium is there. So 100 plus 10, 110 will be considered as issue price in case of shares issues with the premium. If the shares issued with a discount, then suppose let's take a 5% discount. So here we need to deduct the discount. So face value minus discount is equal to issue value. Are we clear about these two terms? Par value or a future value and issued value. Hello. Yes, good. Okay. Now next one is a book value. Very simple. A value at which shares are recorded in the book of account. Okay. A value which is recorded in the books of company's account is known as a book value. And to find out the book value, we have simple formula: paid up capital plus reserve and surplus divided by number of shares. Okay. Uh, if you remember, in a last week, we have exercised that the present value or today value of Reliance Limited and Tata Motors. Do you remember that exercise? Yes. So can you tell me the today price of Reliance Limited right now? Share price of Reliance Limited right now. You may Google it. 2059 rupees. Okay. So this 2059 is known as market value. The current price of the shares are known as market value. It's also known as a tradable value. Okay, a price at which shares are traded in the market. So are we clear about the market value, everyone? Face value, okay, it means a value recorded or stated in the memorandum. Issued value, a value at which shares offers to shareholders. Book value, value recorded in the books of account. And market value, a value at which shares are traded in the market. Now, next important point for all of you, rights and position of equity shares. Generally, we have four types of rights here. Number one, it's rights to income. Here, can you tell me Here, income for equity shareholders means what? What he or she will receive as the equity shareholders, or what company generally pay to the equity shareholders? Dividend. Okay. So here, right to income means equity shareholders have a right to get their dividend. If there is a income, it means if there is a profit. Here, profit means profit after tax. After paying all the expenses, after paying the tax liability, whatever the profit remain is there, that known as a profit after tax, and that may be distributed among the shareholders. And if it is not distributed, it is reinvested in the business. So the first right of equity shareholders is to claim the dividend. Number two, right to control. Okay, already I have explained in the first slide that only the equity shareholders have a voting rights at the annual general meeting. At AGM, only equity shareholders have a voting right, and their rights can be used to elect the board of directors. We elect the management of the company. So, board of directors are elected by the equity shareholders based on their voting rights. So here, right to control means they have a control over the selection of board of directors. Suppose there are three-person X, Y, and Z. So out of this three-person, the equity shareholders will decide that which one will be the director of the company, or a will be in the board of directors. So they have a voting right and they have a right to elect the director. That's why there is a right to control. And preemptive rights. Okay, let me explain this with the previous example. Suppose out of that 20 lakhs authorized capital, 10 lakhs is used or issued. Remaining 10 lakhs is not used at the starting of the company. Now company thinking that we required more money. So when company issue the additional shares, when company issue the additional shares, at that time the existing equity shareholders have some right to get the first preference. Whenever company issue the additional shares, at that time the equity shareholders have their preference, have their first right to purchase the shares of same company. And that's why these shares are known as right shares. Additional shares that issued by the company and purchased by the existing shareholders. This is known as right shares. So third right is about to get the right shares. See, if I don't want to use or utilize my right shares, I can directly say no, and I can transfer that right to the third person. Suppose I don't want to purchase the right shares of the XYZ Limited company, but Shruti or Meet, these both are the investors. So I can transfer my rights to that other third party. So first one is all about to get the dividend, right to get the dividend. But number two, right to control, uh, voting rights and elect the board of directors. Number three, and they have a right to get a right shares. And number four and last, right in a liquidation. Actually, this right is not actual right. Let me explain something funny. See, if the company having some profit, it's very good. Company can go for the dividend and shareholders are very happy. But when company suffers the losses and continuous losses are there, and after suffering the losses for next 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and now company has decided that no, no more, we want to close the entire business. So in that case, company need to pay all the liabilities first. Liabilities of creditors, liabilities of employees, liabilities of bank, liabilities of other financial institute, liabilities of the debenture holders, and liabilities of the equity shareholders, and liabilities of the other governmental officials. Then after paying all the liabilities and after paying all the closed down expenses, if anything remain, that will be distributed among the shareholders. If something is remain, if nothing is available at the end of the liquidation event, then shareholders will get zero amount, even though they lose their principal amount. Suppose I have invested 50,000 rupees in ABC company, and in the last year ABC company has closed down their business, and company does not have that much of fund to repay the equity shareholders. So it means I need to suffer that loss of 50,000 rupees. So here, right in a liquidation means they have a last chance to get the money. Actually, it is not called as a right, but for understanding purpose, we have right here, right in a liquidation. In a liquidation, they get the last chance to get the money, and and in some of case, if company does not have any surplus, then the shareholders may not get anything in the case of liquidation, in the case of shutdown the business, closing the business. Are we clear about these four rights? Right to income, dividend, right to control, voting right and board of direction, board of directors election, right to right share, and right to liquidation, or right in a liquidation. Sorry. Hello, everyone. Are we clear about this? Good. The last point about the equity share capital. Advantages and disadvantages. First advantage, no compulsion to pay a dividend. If there is a profit and if board of directors are ready to declare the dividend, then there is a dividend. No compulsory to declare the dividend every year. So no rules, no regulation. Number two, no maturity date. If we are talking about the bank loan, generally bank loan have some period. Suppose loan for a 5 years, loan for a 10 years, loan for a 20 years. It means after the 20 years, the amount of loan will become zero. So it means loan have a maturity date or maturity years, 20 years. But in case of equity share capital, we don't have any maturity capital. It's born with the born of the company and it's die with the death of the company. Number three, no obligation to redeem. Here redeem means buyback. And there is no obligation, there is any no rule about the buyback of equity shares. Company can buy back or company cannot buy back. That up to management of the company. Number three, greater ability to get to get debt finance. Okay, let me explain with this one practical example. Suppose I have one my own house, I have one my factory, I have one my own car, and I have one plot of land, piece of land. And now I am going to bank and I ask manager, can you give me a loan for 10 lakh rupees or suppose 5 lakh rupees? As a bank manager, what you say? As a bank manager, what you say? I have my own car, I have my own house, I own factory, and one piece of land with me. What you said if I demand for a 5 lakhs loan? You say yes or no? You grant me a loan? हेलो, अगर आप बैंक मैनेजर होते तो आप क्या करते? मुझे लोन देते? अगर मेरे पास मकान हो, फैक्ट्री हो, एक जमीन हो, गाड़ी हो अपनी. हेलो. Yes, okay. Generally, the bank manager grant the loan to that particular person. But suppose one of my friend goes to bank manager and bank manager asks about her personal life and he has only one job and he is earning only 20,000 rupees per month or 30,000 rupees per month. He has a rented house. He has only two vehicle, bike, simple bike, and he does not have any other securities or other properties. So, do you think bank manager will grant the same amount to that my friend, Mr. X? No, definitely no. Okay. So now see here, point number four: great ability to get debt finance. equity share capital is look like as a property of the company. So it will help a company to get more debt finance, to get more loan, to get more debentures. If we don't have equity capital that much, it's difficult to get the amount for a big, loan for a big amount. Are we clear about the fourth advantage? Okay, now last one. Dividends are tax exempted or tax exempt. It means already we have discussed that the dividend is a part of profit, and here profit means profit after tax. Already we have calculated net profit and we have paid. We have means company has paid the tax on that particular profit. Now this profit will be distributed among shareholders, and again it is expense for the company, but for shareholders it is considered as income. And as per the Companies Act 1961, if anybody is earning the income, they need to pay a tax. But in case of dividend income, it is totally tax free. So whenever company declare the dividend, it is tax free for all the equity shareholders. So these are the advantages. And lastly, these are the disadvantages, or we can say some limitations of equity share capital. Number one, dilute the control of existing owners. Okay? Dilute the control. Dilute means to spoil, to break the control. Why? Because the equity shareholders have a right to elect the board of directors, to select the board of directors. That's why they may control the existing owners of the company. As I discussed in the first slide, okay, that out of all the sources, out of all the capitals, cost of equity capital is very high as compared to preference and as compared to debt capital. Number three, equity dividend are paid out of profit after tax. Now this limitation is from the point of view of company. Company need to pay a dividend, okay, and for paying the dividend, company required profit. So ultimately, dividend is nothing. It is a part of profit. So it is a distribution of profit. And in spite of distribution, company can reinvest that business, that amount in the business, so they get more growth and expansion. But if the company declare the dividend, so it will reduce the profit after tax. So that's why here it is a limitation because it is a part of profit. So number last four. Cost of issue equity share is generally higher than the other securities. Okay, let me ask one question to you. You or your parents have ever received a call from the bank that do you need a credit card? आप में से आपके पेरेंट्स में, आपके ब्रदर सिस्टर फ्रेंड्स रिलेटिव में किसी को भी ये कॉल आता है कि डू यू नीड क्रेडिट कार्ड? अच्छा, with this offer they are saying like this, we are offering free of cost credit card. We are offering free of cost credit card. Yes, I'm right. We are getting this type of calls and messages from the various banks, generally from the private sector banks. What it says? It says free of cost. You are not supposed to pay any additional charge to get the credit card. Okay? And suppose you are the manager of the company and under you there are 50 people and 20 people are interested in credit card, and if you just one if you make one call to a representative of the bank representative will come to your place. You are not supposed to go to the bank for a credit card. Am I right? Bank officers, bank representative will come to your place and they will do all the procedures, all the formalities at your place only. So my point is very simple. For other securities, for a credit card, for a loan, for other securities or other sources of finance, okay, cost of getting that finance is nearby zero. Some of charges are there, but it is nearby zero. But as compared to this all, the cost of equity capital, issue of capital is very high. Why? Because first of all, you need to do the registration, you need to follow the legal procedures, you need to open a separate bank account for the same. Okay, you need to send a notice to the respective authorities, you need to send the required documents to the SEBI and other required officers of government. So it's a lengthy process, plus it's a expensive process to get the equity capital. But one point that I can mention here, it is only for a first time and last time. Because you need to do this only for a one time in entire life of the company. Once the equity share capitals are issued, then there is no worry about this all the things. It is only for one time expense. So these are the limitations. So up to this we have discussed what do you mean by equity share capital, types of capital, uh, values of shares, then after advantages and disadvantages of equity share capital. So are we clear about the equity capital? Everyone? Okay. Any doubt, any query? So with this, I'm closing this session right now. Okay. And the next class, we will go for the discussion about the preference share capital. Before leaving the class, please write your enrollment numbers, only enrollment number for attendance purpose, and you are free to leave the class. You may go for a lunch break. We'll